I'm back in my happy place. I'm back in London and I'm up here now because I'm reviewing the Honor 600 Pro, the brand new Honor 600 Pro. Now, I haven't got that much experience with Android. I'll freely admit that. I've used a Samsung Flip, I've used a couple of nothing phones, and I think the last Android I used was the Google Pixel Pro. And I have got nothing against Android at all. It just so happens that years ago I picked up an iPhone, I started to use an iPhone, and I kind of understand iPhones. That's the only reason I'm in that market. I've got nothing against Android in the slightest. So this is going to be a fairly objective view, I hope. I'm not going to slam on it just because it's Android. I genuinely want to see what it's like and give you my first impressions of what using this brand new Honor phone is like. I wish I bought a hairband. But we're going to spend the day in and around London, around St Paul's actually. We're going to be spending some time around there. I'm going to take some pictures with it. I'm going to talk about the AI features that are clearly a very big part of this phone and just tell you what my first impressions are of this brand new Honor 600 Pro. I'm David, and this is the Talking Tech with the Honor 600 Pro. So my first thoughts of the Honor 600 Pro, now I've been using it for a few hours, it seems okay actually. I'm taking pictures in every location I go to on the 17 Pro Max, the 600 Pro and also on my Canon, so you get an idea of the camera quality. I will take some videos with this camera on the 600 as well. The battery is unbreakable. I charged it to 100% a couple of days ago and it's still at 71% now. It's a 6,400 milliamp hour battery and it's ridiculous. It just seems to go on and on and on. It's clearly stolen some design cues from an iPhone. It feels slightly less comfortable to hold to me. The radius on the round corners don't feel quite as comfortable to me. It's got a carbon fibre back, which actually is very smudge-free. The glass on the camera bump is a little bit smudgy. But again, I'm picking holes there. It's not a bad thing at all. There's loads of apps that come on the phone. That's something I found. That's an Android thing, I know. That's not necessarily just this phone. It's just an Android thing. Way more apps than I'm used to seeing on a phone. A lot of them are gaming apps and QR code scanners and all sorts of weird things like that. A load of them I'll never ever use. So there does seem to be an awful lot of bloatware on it when you first get it. The fingerprint sensor is ever so quick though. I'm obviously used to Face ID on here. The fingerprint sensor on this phone, it's very quick. Although I have found in daylight it's harder to find. You have to tap the screen obviously to wake it up, and then it does come to life. And apparently the radius on these corners is the largest on any smartphone, if that matters to you. Right, let's talk about some basic specs and stuff. So it comes in four colours, black, gold and white and orange. You get 6 years of software support. In the UK, I said, we get a 6,400 milliamp hour battery. It's running Magic OS 10, which is based on Android 16, and it uses a Snapdragon 8 Elite mobile platform chip. It's got a 6.5-inch AMOLED straight screen, and they call it an Honor Eye Comfort display. It seems comfortable to use is all I can tell you. It's a 2728 by 1264 120 Hz variable refresh rate screen. It's 800 nits of peak brightness. It goes all the way down to 1 nit. It's HDR certified for both Netflix and Amazon as well, so you will get richer colours. I did look at that and it is a lovely colour on that screen, I must say. That 8000 nits of brightness, I haven't noticed it's particularly bright as my iPhone. It's bright, it's not struggling, but I haven't noticed it's that much brighter than the iPhone. I'm only mentioning the iPhone because obviously that's what I'm used to. Storage configs, well, you've got 256 and 512 gig models. You get 12 gigs of RAM, and then with the 1 terabyte model, you get 16 gigs of RAM. Water resistance, it's got all the ticks there. You get IP68, 69K water and dust resistance ratings. It's got an SGS 5-star drop and crash test, which I'm not going to try. I have noticed the cover glass on here is scratching quite easily. This is a review unit that I've got to send back in a week or so's time. It's been in my pocket today, and I have noticed there's some scratches and marks in it already, which, obviously, as you know, my iPhones don't have any screen protectors on and they're still scratch free, so that is one tiny little thing that I found isn't as good a quality as the iPhone. It's got a 3D VC vapor chamber in there, and it's an 80 watt wired charging speed and a 50 watt wireless charging speed, and it does do reverse charging as well, so I could charge up an iPhone from the battery on here, which is quite cool. It's eSIM and it's dual SIM card as well, so you could put 2 SIM cards in there, but it is also an eSIM. But the USB-C port is slow. It's only the USB 2, so you get 480 megs of transfer speed. So that's the basic specs of the phone. But so far, so good. We'll look at the camera a little bit closer in just a moment. They call the speakers on here dual speaker that supports stereo. I don't really know what that means. All I can tell you is that the sound is a little bit thin. There's not much bass. They're a little bit hissy, and they're not as good as iPhone speakers. That's not me saying that iPhone's wonderful. iPhone 2 has its faults. All I'm giving you is an objective view of using this phone today for the first time. The speakers are okay. I haven't paired any headphones with them, but they're okay. There's just not much bass to them. There's a speaker at either end of the phone, and they're kind of okay. I keep mentioning the price. I will mention that at the end of the video as well, because this phone is going to be priced ever so ever so competitively. You've seen plenty of videos and pictures through the course of the video I'm making today, so let's talk about the cameras on here. The main camera is a 200 megapixel camera with an f1.9 aperture and a 1/1/4 inch sensor. You've got a 50 megapixel periscope tele-lens with an f.28 aperture with a 3.5x optical zoom, giving up to 120x zoom. You've got a 12 megapixel ultra wide and macro camera, which is an f2.2 aperture. That actually goes down to 0.8x and a 1x. So if you like your macro stuff, you're going to be in luck on this phone. And the selfie camera is a 50 megapixel selfie camera. Not that I do an awful lot of selfie work, must be said. There's pro mode on here for the photos has been really good actually. It looks like a very solid app to use, and the photos you're seeing on here all been taken in the pro mode. There's no log setting for video, but that's not really an issue. I don't use it on the iPhone, to be totally honest with you, any longer, not since I've been shooting everything on the Canon. And the filters they built into the camera app look actually pretty good. The screen on here is something I wanted to come back to. Yes, it's scratching, but that HDR panel they've got on here looks really good. The blacks and colours look really punchy, particularly on a bright day like today. I'm a big fan of the panel. The display is possibly a little bit over-processed, but it certainly gives very, very punchy results. Also, swapping files between the iPhone and the Honor was really easy. They've got an app that you can download on the iPhone called Honor Connect, and it's so simple. Once you've downloaded it, you just open it up, select the files, pictures, videos, PDFs, whatever it is you want to transfer, hit share, and they just appear on the Honor. That is a real bonus, a real bonus. Back in the studio, I'm going to show you something they're particularly keen about on this phone, which is the image to video. It's not for me, but I have to admit it's amazingly impressive. Just before wrapping up for the day in London, we'll do a concluding bit in the studio tomorrow when I show you the image to video, but there was just the amount of AI. It's everywhere. Every app you open, if you open the floating sidebar, if you open the camera app, AI is absolutely littered throughout this phone. Now, I know that's one of Honor's things, and it did surprise us how much there is. But just looking at the spec sheet here, AI editing, AI image to video 2.0, AI photos agent, moving photo eraser and breakout collage, magic color, AI eraser, AI outpainting, AI cutouts, not really easy to say, AI upscale, AI remove moire pattern, and AI facetune, and with AI beauty. That's just in the photo editing. Now, when I show you this image to video app tomorrow, I say it's not for me. I can't see me ever wanting to use it. It's mighty powerful and it all happens on device. I think it broaches questions of deep fake and so on, but we'll talk about that tomorrow back in the studio. But that is just, I just wanted to run through quite how much AI is embedded in this phone. That said, I've really enjoyed using it today. It hasn't felt a downgrade at all. I'll be quite happy using it. It's been good on 5G. The battery is amazing. Let me give you an update now. It's 6:10 in the evening and it's still 57%, and I haven't charged it for 2 days and it's been with me in London all day today. It gives you an idea of just how powerful it is. So we'll do a wrap up tomorrow in the studio, but the screen I absolutely love. It does look great, really punchy and really vibrant. But yeah, it's been a good day with the Honor, and I'll talk to you about prices and when it's available when we get back to the studio. So I've had this now for almost 2 weeks. It's nearly time for me to send back the Honor 600 Pro, and I like it. I'd said at the beginning of the video, this wasn't going to be one of those videos that I was going to try and generate clickbait with and iPhone user switches. I'm perfectly happy with my iPhones that I'm using. Currently, I'm using the 17E as my main phone, but I'm perfectly happy using my iPhone. It'd be counterproductive for me to switch when you consider the iPads, the HomePods, the Macs. It all just works cohesively together, and I'm very happy there. But as I said, it's not that I've got anything against Android at all, and using this has borne it out. You've seen the quality of the pictures. The camera on here is really good. The video on here will take good 4K video. I've not had an issue at all. Now, there's a couple of things I wanted to mention. I've been making some notes of that, again, if you're an Android user, may not be a surprise to you. But for me, this thing, I only charged it once, and I've just charged it again today, almost a week after. On standby, it still had 20% on it, just under 18%. I put it onto charge, and when I put the USB-C cable into charge, it told me on screen, press the screen for boost. Blimey, it's fast. Now, it got warm, so possibly for battery longevity, it's not the best thing. But it charged from about 18% to 100% in around about 25 or 30 minutes. It was astounding. So the battery life, combined with how quickly you can charge it and the reverse charging, I really like. They're features that I really have come to enjoy on that phone. The display is the other thing I wanted to mention. The display is hypnotically good. The blacks are so black, it is so punchy and vibrant. Now, I use an M4 iPad Pro with a tandem OLED display, which is a stunningly good display. But I tell you what, the display on this thing isn't that far behind. It is a beautiful, beautiful display to watch, possibly a little bit over-processed, possibly. But it's the kind of display that once you put it this way, when I send it back, I'm going to miss it. It is a really, really good display. I know they said it's 8,000 nits of brightness. That's hard to quantify. All I can tell you is, from a user point of view, actually looking at the display, it is stunning. Now, the area that I need to talk to you about is image to video. When I went to the unveiling of the phone a couple of weeks ago in London, Honor were very keen to talk about image to video 2.0, the first time it's been on any phone, on any Android, and it's powerful, super powerful. So the picture I'm going to show you here, the picture of the man was just a stock picture, a library picture that was on the phone when it was sent to me. The picture of the lady you might have seen a couple of weeks ago when I was in London. She was a model setting up and I was just demonstrating a lens and took a picture of her from a long way away. So 2 pictures. So all you have to do is go into image to video and then select the images. You can have it as upright or horizontal. You can choose the duration. If you're feeling really peppy, you can put in your own description. I'm not an AI user, just so you're aware. I don't, the only AI I think I genuinely use every single day is masks in Lightroom. Other than that, everything you see, every story you read of mine, titles, descriptions, thumbnails, all made by me. I want you to know that what you're watching, if you're going to invest your time in me, I want you to know that I've invested time in making all of this content for you. So I'm not a big AI user. But just look at what this can do. I chose a template Embrace, and it is kind of freaking frightening. They've even added voices in as well. It's staggering. I've shown it to a couple of people, and people's reaction when they see it is open mouth. It is seriously impressive.
I've missed you.
You too.
It's so good to see you.
It's not the kind of AI tool that I like. The only AI I wanted to use outside of masks recently was when I was in London and recording. I had some real bad wind noise. I forgot to use a dead cat on the mic. I wanted an AI tool to get rid of it, and it couldn't. So the only time I wanted AI to work for me recently, it still wasn't up to the task. It's not the kind of AI I would endorse or like, and I think there are some potentially very murky areas with it. But it's the first on a phone, and I needed to tell you about it. It is impressive, just not something that I would want to use. Now, onto the price. I've mentioned prices a couple of times, and this is very aggressively priced. You've seen the quality of it, and I can honestly tell you, I mean, it's the first time I've used Snapdragon 8 Elite. It's really quick. You fly around the phone ever so quick. There's no delays, there's no lagging. Everything you turn to is there. It's fast. I didn't notice any difference between using this and any of my iPhones. It's a fast, high-quality feeling phone. It's everything you'd want to use from a phone, but the prices are impressive. The phone that I've got here, which is the 12 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage, is going at $899.99. That is a lot of phone for that money, if you ask me. Then on the standard 600, if you go for the 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, it's $549.99, and 12 gigs of storage, and 12 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage is $599.99. These things are ridiculously competitively priced. And if I was looking for a phone, for whatever reason, away from an iPhone and iOS, I would seriously look at this. It doesn't feel like a budget alternative at all. It does everything that I want it to do. It's really fast. The screen is amazing. And it feels very responsive. I've enjoyed using it. I really have. And more than anything, it's been a real eye-opener for me to use an Android again after 2 or 3 years, just to see what was going on the other side of the fence. There's no need for me to change, but that doesn't mean to say that I should blink and not appreciate what's going on and what advancements are being made and what possibly will be coming to iPhone sometime soon. That reverse charging is super handy, for instance. Sure, that's something I'd love to see on an iPhone. So there are things that I've seen, and that battery boost. I've got my concerns as to how healthy it is for the battery, but it's a great feature nonetheless to have, to be able to quickly charge a phone that quickly. So I've really enjoyed my experience with this on a phone. I really have. As I said, first time I've used an Android in a long time, but the experience has been nothing but positive. If you've enjoyed my take on it, my thoughts on the Honor 600 Pro and the video, you can see how much work I put into this video, a sub would make a huge difference to me. It really would. It's just a little nod that you know quite what goes into making these videos. And if you've enjoyed this, I thought something might interest you. See me shooting in London. I love shooting away from the studio on location. This video shows you what I put in my camera bag to take into London every week to make these videos possible.